Hi, I'm Kana and welcome to Cosplaying with Kana episode 3. So today we're actually going to be talking about Sasuke Uchiha's cosplay costume from the Shippuden series. This is his Akatsuki version. There are actually 11 pieces in this costume, so that's including the cloak itself. So I'm going to cover just a few things. First of all, store-bought versus handmade costumes. Some of the pros and cons, I guess, to buying store-bought costumes is that it can actually be made very well depending on where you buy it from. So that's always something to consider. You know, you're not always going to have a really crappy made costume. It just depends on where you get it from. And that's also, you get what you paid for. So my costume actually was kind of on the more expensive side, but it was worth it. Another pro is that, like, if you have a convention coming up, or something, it's going to be a lot easier to just order a costume rather than trying to make it. So that's another thing to consider too, is if you have a convention right around the corner within a few weeks, then I definitely would probably just go ahead and order one online. Some of the cons is that it can be expensive. So, you got to be thinking about money-wise. And then another con is that it may need alterations. Not all cosplay costumes that you order are going to be exact. I know the costume that I ordered, I sent them my personal measurements in, and there are still some issues that I have. My shoulders are incredibly broad for my body, so when I sent them my measurements, they had me according to the proportions, and my shoulders are still, they're just like a little too small, so I can't actually like put my arms completely over my head. So I have to watch that when I'm actually doing his skits or his conventions. So there's an issue to that. Handmade costumes are actually, I think, a much better option. I actually like hand-making my own costumes, but with the convention coming up right around the corner, I actually can't do that. So I actually bought mine. But the pros to having handmade costumes is that you can get everything custom, your own personal designs, everything is through you. So if you need measurements done, you might have to ask somebody for help with that to actually help you take measurements of everything. But you can create your own patterns or finding patterns online, and not only that, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper. So a couple of cons to that, though, is like number one, you have to learn how to sew. So if you don't want to learn how to sew, then I guess buying a costume is, your best way to go. But even then, though, like, learning to sew could even help you in that sense. So another con is that it does take a lot of time for you to make these kinds of costumes, so you have to set yourself aside some time. So why it's important to learn how to sew, this is one of the things that I did actually include in here. I think it's very important because if you need any alterations done, you can actually do them yourself rather than saying, hey, this doesn't fit me right, I need this bigger or something, and sending it back to somebody. Instead, you can just do it yourself. So learning to sew is definitely a good thing. It doesn't matter if it's like hand sewing or if you're actually like sewing on a sewing machine. It's good to know both those things. If you don't know how to do it, then look up a tutorial, and it doesn't take much to buy a needle and thread. So I'm going to talk about how much my costume costs. I bought my costume from Milano.com, and they have some great cosplay costumes on there, and they're actually really, really well made. I actually really love mine. The only thing I have is just my shoulders is the only issue I have with it. But it cost me about $107, and that is including the full Sasuke costume except the shoes and also the Akatsuki cloak. And not only that, this wig that I'm wearing cost me about $35. It came from Epic Cosplay. It is an Aphrodite wig. So, and it actually used to be really long. It used to be like way down here. So think about how much I cut off of that. And it's really cool. I like it a lot. So, my hair's all messed up now. But yeah, this is the wig that I styled. And it actually looks pretty good. So, I like it. It works really well for Sasuke's character. And then the shoes actually cost me an extra $29 from the same website from Milano. And the sword cost me about $40. So those are some things to also consider too, is the amount of money you're going to be spending on this cosplay. This hat cost me $10 from work, so that did not come with my cosplay. Although I think it looks really cute. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the breakdown of the parts of the costume. Like I said, there are 11 parts. The first one is the shirt. This is the shirt from Milano. My collar's all screwed up here. One thing that's really neat is like right here is a harder, thicker fabric, and then all of this is a little softer. So that collar and stuff is going to stay pretty thick, like how it stands up and it's supposed to be like that. So that's kind of cool. And the zipper zips all the way down to the bottom of the shirt. And then on the back, they have like this vinyl-looking shiny stuff. I don't really like it too much. In fact, I'd love to go back and like redo it, but that's at a later date. Or either that, I might just make my own shirt. I don't know. So that's that. And then pants. These actually came with my costume. They're the same color as the wristbands, but I didn't really like these pants too much. It's not like they didn't fit correctly or anything. They're just not as comfortable. So I actually decided to go through and get my own pants. And I found some at Aerie, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's a branch of American Eagle. It's like the women's department. So they sell all like the lingerie stuff and loungewear. And so these are the pants that I got from there. They're black and they have pockets and I love them. So, yeah, and they also have they're joggers. So they have the little elastic on the bottom. And they're really, really comfortable. They cost me about $35. So that's that. And then, of course, Sasuke's little, his pant overlay, which I call it a skirt sometimes. But there's the full thing. It's blue, shiny. I'm just kidding, it's not shiny. And, yeah, so one thing that I did is, this is when sewing comes in handy, is it kept falling down. So I fastened buttons for it, and I actually cut out little holes for my buttons to go in, so it doesn't fall down anymore. I'm trying to put on that stupid rope. Speaking of the rope, here's the rope. All of this stuff that I'm showing to you guys right now all came from Milano, and the rope's actually really accurate in real life in comparison with the anime, so it's something also to think about too, is if you're getting a rope from a certain company, you might want to think about the size of it and stuff, because this actually is pretty accurate to the anime. If you don't like large ropes, then I completely understand, because I wasn't sure how I felt about it either. And then here are Sasuke's little wristbands, his little wrist guards. So, yeah, they actually fit about where they're supposed to. I know it looks weird because I'm wearing a sweater. But, yeah, they fit about right there. They're a little loose on the bottom, which is where I want to do my alterations, is to kind of, like, tighten this up right here. But otherwise, they're fine. They fall down sometimes, but that's why I want to tighten up the bottom. And then I have my Akatsuki cloak, which it's got a hood on it. This is the inside. And then this is the back right here. So if I can actually, like, there's the hood. So, yeah, so that is my Sasuke costume. And then the shoes I bought separately, but from the same website. And they're actually really comfortable, surprisingly, for little ninja shoes. But they're pretty thick, and then they have felt on the inside of this. And this actually zips up, so it looks like that. And it's actually pretty decent, I think, for working with the costume itself. So that works. And then here is my sword. The sword came from swordaxe.com, but I think it came through eBay actually. So, but yeah, there is my sword. It's carbon steel. This may not be allowed at an anime convention, but it still looks cool. This was about $40. So that's one thing to think about too, is that when you're doing conventions, I would invest in a wood sword rather than a metal one, because the metal one might not be allowed. So think about that. Then contacts. I actually don't have them in, but I got my contacts from NarutoContacts.com, and they cost me about $30. And they actually work really well. And I can wear them over and over and over again. I don't know how long they're going to last me, but they don't irritate my eyes or anything like that. So if you want to be authentic to the character and actually get the contacts, then I would definitely suggest NarutoContacts.com. So, yeah, that's pretty much the whole Sasuke costume. If you guys have any questions about where to find things or anything like that, I know tons of websites and tons of resources that you can actually find some pretty decent stuff at. And also, there are some, like Fighting Dreamers Productions does a really good sewing tutorial about how to make costumes and things like that, so you might want to look into it as well. Otherwise, just thank you guys for watching, and honestly, like, we're going to try to get out some more videos pretty soon on the Legacy Cosplay site. So for my next episode, I'm actually going to be doing another cosplay. My Sasuke tutorial is done, so I'm actually thinking about doing some more characters. If you guys want me to do any tutorials for characters, please let me know, and just comment down below, and I will try to get back to that if I can. Alright, well, thank you. This has been Cosplaying with Kana, and I'll see you next time.